Hi there, welcome to our food chase training. Today we'll start the module number 04 of our Smart and Sustainable Food System Production System. And the main subject that we'll be touching today will be the improving raw material and equipment handling. These are focused on food safety and raw material equipment handling, and we are looking at supporting you and sharing with you some updated data that will help you on your career. Okay, I really hope you enjoy the class, and let's go to our classes, starting with the learning outcomes. We have divided again in 5 different learning outcomes, which are all expected for you to reach, to observe and retain such a knowledge, remembering that such a presentation we are just starting, the module number 4, is just a pre-introduction to each of the chapters and sub-themes we are looking at this training. Remembering that the material that will be shared with you, such as the learning, supporting, the written learning material, the questions, and etc. in this video, are the base for you to understanding more broader, to check it more in depth, to check the references that have been shared with you and the links. Okay, let's start. At the end of this submodule, students will be able to evaluate raw material handling practices and identify source of avoidable loss, very important. Recommend improvements in equipment handling to reduce damage, contamination, and downtime. Apply sustainability principles to handling decision across processing and logistics, as well as integrate handling practices into the European Union Food Safety, Hygiene, and Traceability Framework, such as farm-to-fork strategy. And last but not least, propose operational strategies that reduce waste and extend equipment lifespan. Very important, this one. It's the first time we are touching the knowledge of equipment lifespan, which is very important here. Let's start with our introduction to the submodule, improving raw material and equipment handling. Raw material and equipment handling are often underestimated drivers of food loss, inefficiency, and environmental impact. While processing technologies receive major attention, it's very common, significant losses originate during unloading, internal transport, storage transfers, and equipment setup or setting, and cleaning operations. Not many people think about that, but these are very important points. Within the European Union regulatory context, handling practices must be designed not only for productivity, but also for material preservation, hygiene, and resource efficiency. Okay? Handling and strategic control. Now we start with the farm-to-fork strategy. This is the figure has been depicted from the main page of European Union farm-to-fork strategy. You see that on the written material, the bulky document that I have drafted for you. There is a link on this figure on the title of the program. You can click and leads you directly to the page. So you can go there and read the documents that will help you understand a lot of those 4 different things, such as sustainable food processing distribution, sustainable food production, food loss and waste prevention, and sustainable food consumption, all the cycle, okay? But summarizing here, improper handling leads to mechanical damage, such as bruising, breakage, and deformation. You don't want that to the food system. You want to avoid that. Contamination, hygiene risks, spillage and rework, accelerate equipment wear, and energy losses. This submodule positions handling as a preventive control point in sustainable production management, aligned with farm-to-fork strategy. This is a very interesting here, okay? The objective of this raw material handling and sustainability, the objective of this knowledge is share with you that preserve raw material integrity while minimizing mechanical stress, contaminations, and unnecessary movement is so key because they are comprised of some key stages that will help us avoid energy losses and waste, okay? Such a key stages to avoid these are comprised of receiving and initial handling. Not many people understand that, but the receiving of the material from the farm to your industry is so important. The height you drop the boxes, the way you carry is so important. Okay, that's why we put here the key stages. Internal transport and material flow. It's coming from here, it goes A or there? I'm not sure. Let's plan to make it to avoid problems on that track. And storage handling and stock rotation. How to do that? How to do? This is what we are looking at doing here. The receiving and initial handling. Remember? Receiving is the first critical control point for loss prevention. Here's a figure that shows you how it will be received and how to be moved into process area and etc. Key improvement strategies for receiving as a first critical point. Cushion unloading system and control drop heights. Example, you have a box of fruit that's very sensible. That will be totally different than the hard nut fruit. Okay? Standardized inspection and early segregation of damaged lots. If you follow a standardized inspection, example, receive, check the box standard, check the box condition, check the weight of the box, and so on, you have something standardized. Helps you understanding, okay? Temperature controlled reception areas. Should I receive it on environment temperature or maybe cooling temperature or maybe higher temperature? Decide it. It's important. Clear handling specifications aligned with material fragility. Remembering that a soft skin fruit is different than a hard nut fruit, okay? Or a seed, okay? It's different. How are you going to be handling that? It must be specified and must be followed. Early prevention at reception reduce downstream training losses, microbial risks, and rework. Remember, rework is always too much. You spend twice energy, twice water, twice time. Looking at decreasing or maybe avoiding it. Internal transport and material optimization. Remember the tracking? Look this figure here. Production, processing, retail and food services, consumer. You have a lot of phases here that can have problems, okay? Inefficient internal logistics amplify food loss and energy waste. Sustainability-oriented practices for internal transport and material optimizations include not just this, but the main ones. Minimizing handling steps and transfer. Don't be touching always this. Don't carry this box from here to there to over there. Decide the right track internally. Designing linear or U-shaped material flow, so you can look at it, you can control more. Selecting conveyors appropriate to product fragility, okay? How are we going to be conditioning this according to its fragility level? Separating raw and processed material flows. They are different, they demand different attention. Synchronizing transport speed with processing capacity. If your forklift guys are too quick, or your line is running too quick, but you're feeding your line slowly, there's no point. You gotta balance things. Optimized flow reduces mechanical damage, contamination risks, and idle energy use. This is a very clear example. Storage handling and stock rotation. Remember from the second slide? We call it a FIFO, first in and first out rules. It identifies items with earliest best before expiration dates and place them at front. You need to be easy for you to work. Imagine a cool room, giant one. How are you going to be dealing with it? You cannot just losing time searching for something that's at the back of the cooling room. It must be here for purpose, okay? Stock newer items at the back, remember, rotation, and remove damaged or expired products. That FIFO and FIFO are so important. Handling during storage strongly influences shelf life and waste generation, okay? That's why we recommend FIFO and FIFO stock rotation, limiting unnecessary pallet movement. Okay, if you decrease the movement, you decrease the potential accidents, you decrease stacking up, the box is too much, you decrease energy use and etc. Using load spreading pallets and cushion separators. Remember the cushion, avoid the damage on bruising and skin, etc. We have touched on a model 3. Clear labeling and digital tracking, barcodes, FID, WMS. The clear labeling digital tracking helps you understand which batch is older, which batch must be out earlier, how you're going to be rolling it, such as FIFO and FIFO rules. Proper storage handling supports traceability, understand where it is, quality preservation, and EU compliance. Very key. On this chapter, equipment handling and operational waste, the objective of this subchapter is to reduce waste, downtime, and resource loss caused by improper equipment interaction. Focus areas mainly on equipment setup and changeovers, cleaning, sanitation, handling, and handling related wear and failure. Equipment setup and changeovers. Setup and changeovers are high risks phase for what? For scrap generation, misalignment of and leaks of machinery, contamination or maybe cross-contamination, and startup losses. Okay? The key improvement strategies for these setups. Standardized setup procedure, how to set up the equipment following a clear standard, a clear procedure. Operator training and on equipment-specific tolerances. Remember, the human being is so important for the systems, and the human being must be well trained to understand what the specifications for this machinery is, for that, and then we have something. Remember, if you have a staff well trained, operating under data management systems such as dashboards, like we have told you before on the module number 3, we have a system that are working well. Okay, remember, this is a process. It's not an end by itself, because we don't fix something for the rest of its shelf life, or for the rest of its lifespan. It's a process. It must be monitored on a real time. Okay, but getting back here to the key improvement strategies: ergonomic tools and alignment aids. Perfect. Verification checks before we start. This is one of preventive actions. You do the verification checks before you start the machinery. Okay? Well, managing changeovers improve efficiency and sustainability. Very clear. Okay? Cleaning, sanitation, and component handling. Cleaning is essential but resource intensive. Keep that in mind. It must be done, but resource intensive. It needs a human being. It needs special products, and must be done. That's why you must think properly and plan before you do it. Sustainability-oriented handling includes gentle disassembly and reassembly of components. You see, you disassemble and assemble the line correctly. Proper storage of seals, sensors, and nozzles is just one example, such as the nozzle he's using here in the picture. Optimized CIP protocols to avoid overcleaning. Okay, you don't need that many hours of cleaning. You must just follow the protocol, okay, to avoid overcleaning. Monitoring, we're linked to sanitation frequency. Sometimes you're cleaning too much. You're actually decreasing the lifespan of your machinery because you're going too much. That's why focus on the protocols, okay? Improve handling, reduce water, chemical use, and maintenance waste. Maintenance waste is a waste that's related to the energy you put into the maintenance, to the labor you put into the maintenance, and the time you put into it. It must be well done, because this is very important. Sometimes you don't think about it, but it's very important, okay? Handling related equipment, wear and failure. Improper handling accelerates, speed up, bearing and seal degradation. You have a bearing, a ball bearing working on your line. If you're not following the protocol, you're not following the standard, it will be rolling with a higher speed than it should. What you do? Decrease lifespan, or you cause equipment wear and future failure. Misalignment and vibration, same. Energy inefficiency, very clear. Premature equipment failure. You're not using the equipment under its potential and its proper way. That's why the potential is not correct, the results are not correct, and you lose the machinery before its lifespan. Preventive strategies, training operators to detect early stress indicators. The human piece here is so important because they will be on a daily activities. If they are well trained, they help you a lot. If you sum up that with your dashboards, you have the best scenario ever, okay? Reducing excessive manual force, because humans tend to failure on a manual force, that's why. Respecting design tolerance. The machine must be working X hours. Why working more? Okay, it must be working on a certain temperature. Why is working on a different temperature? Focus there. Respecting design tolerances. Again, just repeating. Integrating handling related data into maintenance planning. What I said. Integrating handling related data. How are you doing? Example, you have a list. Oh no, I have tightened up the nuts of the machinery fortnightly. Put this information into the maintenance planning. put that into the dashboard, make things work, and then you find the root cause of your problem, where a failure, okay? Integrating handling into sustainability strategies. The figure on the right-hand side here is the resilient food chain supply. This is a very interesting, from the University of Melbourne, Australia. It's not European, but it's very interesting thing. You can click on that and just checking how it is divided into from the production all the way to the waste resources. Production, processing, distribution, retail, consumption, and waste resources. You see that goes beyond what we normally see because it goes all the way from production to waste resource and gives you an overview of this. This article is very helpful, okay? Introducing you here, handling improvements deliver cascading benefits. You see the cascading benefits. This is so important. Reduce food loss in byproducts, lower energy and water consumption, reduce rework and corrective operations, extend equipment lifespan. You want it. These outcomes align with EU Circular Economy Action Plan and Farm to Fork strategies. When you do the handling improvements, you have these cascading benefits, have these stacking benefits, a virtuous cycle, okay? Very important for us here. Compliance and system-based diagnosis, we have these many legislation. We have the hygiene one, we have mentioned on module number 3, HACCP. Preventing handling supports compliance with regulation. These are the numbers: regulation 178/2002, traceability, PDO, PGI, and organic quality schemes. You see how things work. Like certification schemes, they must be convergent with those hygiene and traceability schemes, because I don't have to be reinventing, norms and rules. If I have something cohesive, I can use for many different schemes. If I have my factory and I'm doing properly, I can actually qualify for an organic label if we follow the right regulations, okay? A system-based diagnosis integrates material fragility, equipment limits, human factors and ergonomics, and process layout and sequencing. The right figure here from the TraceX is shared with you as well on the written material and talks about the benefits of European Union Food Regulation compliance, which is under the Farm to Fork strategy. Fosters consumer trust because consumers, they understand that there is a transparency in the process, because build confidence in the safety and quality of food. You understand that this follows a clear protocol, facilitates market access, compliant products meet regulatory standards in foreign markets. Remember, I have mentioned, if you're following up such regulations, they can converge with some organic schemes, PDO and PGI schemes, saving you activities, saving you actions, okay? Which turns you compliant with the regulatory standards of foreign markets. And last but not least, commitment to responsible practice. Adherence to regulations demonstrate excellence. If you are eager and enthusiastic about following up rules that goes beyond the things you should do, you just demonstrate that you have excellence, and that helps you a lot introduce your product on the market. Because just getting back to the first thing, fosters consumer trust, okay? It's not just for the quality or to decrease the losses, but to foster the consumer trust on your product, create, the culture of valuing things that are well done. And this was the module number 4. Again, I have introduced you to some of the sub-chapters and the themes of this module number 4. I hope you have enjoyed, remembering that the supporting material that you have at hand, that you have drafted for you, will be helping you understand each of the regulation, what it's talking about, what you should be studying, and will help you understanding and pre-selecting where you as a professional will be diving deeper. Which subject will be exploring more. Depending on a profile, you will choose one or another. But the good thing here is that we share with you some broad ideas, and then you can pick your thing and go deep. I hope you have enjoyed the class, and I see you on our module number 4.